The third panel discussion as part of the Kwame Ture Memorial Lecture Series is upon us, but before it actually happens on Thursday, July 23, though, Dr. Claudius Fergus, Director of Education and Research of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Akilah Jaramogi, Founder and Executive Director of the Fonzamans Community Reforestation Project, CEO of American Heritage Foundation, Director of Maroon Women Chamber of Cooperation. They are joining us to discuss the relevance of Black Power today. So we say good evening to you. Thank you very much for being a part of this discussion. Before the discussion, and I want to start off by getting your thoughts on the matter or on the relevance of Black Power today. Thank you. And I'll start off with you, please, Ms. Jaramogi.
Hey, the relevance of Black Power today for me is looking back at what my foreparents, looking back at what my ancestors did, looking back at what the struggles of my people, and matching up with what is happening today, you know, and I see the relevance of their struggles because to me, you know, it's like nothing changed much, you know. What happened 30 years ago, 20 years ago, you still see, you know, a lot is happening today, that lack of respect for my people, that police brutality and stuff going on. So for me, I am just hopeful that, you know, we can follow and continue following in the path of our ancestors and freedom fighters that gone, that paved the way for I to continue this work in the struggle. Yeah?
Thank you so much. And I'll ask you the same question, please, Dr. Fergus.
Yes. Let me just say, the moderator for tomorrow's session, Sister Akilah, is one of the 4 discussants on the panel. And for me, the relevance of Black Power today is somewhat along the lines that Sister Akilah articulated, because the whole system of institutionalized racism is still very much with us. And we therefore have to deal with the evils of white supremacism and racism, perhaps better equipped now than in 1970, but that is no less than in 1970. The education system, for example, you know, that is one of the fundamentals of what we call the neo-colonial system, which entrenches all of the institutions of the colonial system that was supposed to be superseded at emancipation, at independence time. And independence should have been a continuing transformation away from the colonial system, but we find that the institutions are still there. You know, the justice system is still very much an injustice system to African people. The policing, we know, is still very much a serious problem where, you know, the police has always been part of the system of brutality against African people. It may be less so than in the United States, but that aspect of policing is still very much part of our existence today. You know, so we have to deal with these things. We have to deal with the symbols of white supremacy. As you know, the campaign to remove the Columbus statue is just one of the instances where we are compelled, you know, to glorify the heroes of the imperial and colonial systems rather than our own heroes, which were, of course, obliterated through the colonial education system. So it is very much relevant today as it had always been.
Now, Sister Jaramogi, I want to get back to you in terms of the fact that you represent a number of organizations. I'm wondering, what are some of the common threads or some of the common thoughts that you hear from people within those organizations with regard to Black Power and just love of things from Al-Kibble and Land of the Blacks?
Typically, I'm a historian, so I like to look at things from a historical perspective. But as far as concerned, in 1970, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary this year of the Black Power uprising, and that uprising, to me, was different from what the real Black Power revolution was. That revolution, to me, did not start and end, in the period February to April 1970, which was the period of the uprising. The Black Power revolution started before, and it continued well beyond 1970. And that's because the real revolution was the intellectual and psychological revolution. That transformation that was directed from within the movement itself. It was a transformation that really involved the decolonization of the mind that the education system had failed to address. It was the ending of mental slavery, about pride in one's black skin, pride in being African, rejection of the Negro label and plantation names and so on. That was the real revolution. It was a revolution of the mind. And it is only that revolution of the mind that can really equip us to deal with the other transformations that would bring an end to the various institutional injustices that would be inherent in our neo-colonial system.
Now, in terms of decolonizing the mind, Sister Jaramogi, Miss Akilah, one of the things, or one of the ways that happens is people kind of transforming their mindset about the way they see themselves. Now, in terms of the work that you do with regard to fashion, do you see it easier to speak to people now about Black Power, about loving self as a Black individual, when they are coming to just browse your jewelry, actually get some? And it seems as though we are having some problems trying to get that audio, so we will work on it. We come back after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We are speaking with Dr. Claudius Fergus as well as Ms. Akilah Jaramogi. Now, Ms. Jaramogi, we were speaking with you, so we just asked you to give us that answer, please, because we weren't hearing you, but we're hearing you well again now.
Okay, run the question again. Sorry.
How easy is it to speak with people about love of self as a Black person, about the relevance of Black Power, when people are browsing your jewelry or interacting with you on that level?
For me, it's quite easy, to reach out to people and share information about Blackness and self and history, because I lived the part, So most of the times when people interact with me, they see Africa in me, and therefore the conversation is quite easy. Sometimes they come to me more with the conversation about appreciating self and, about feeling great about being Black and raising topics about the struggles of I&I people, so it just comes naturally. So again, as I said earlier, it's all about the liberty. You live the history, you live, when it's in your DNA, it's not hard to share the information. It's not hard, to manifest the powers of I&I ancestors, And for me, I continue to stay in that part. I continue to represent who I am. I continue to embrace the work of I&I people, of I&I ancestors, and I continue to speak out for my people in all circles, my Black people.
And in terms of speaking out and representing and allowing people to see Africa within you, To you,
Definitely.
what does Black Power mean to you now in 2020?
To me, Black Power is a level of self-consciousness. Black Power is all about, carrying on the work of our and our ancestors. Black Power is all about freedom. Black Power is all about self-assurance, knowing who I am and from whence I came, and therefore, getting that in the heart, body, mind, and soul of our and I people, of our and I leaders, So it don't take like a meeting to or someone being murdered to say, hey, Black Power, this is Black Power. Black Power is the life you choose to live, that level of consciousness. And it's not a consciousness between the emancipation time or a rally time. It's ongoing consciousness of the struggles that I and I people went through, the atrocities and the crimes, and knowing that we can, and we have survived it, and we can continue to survive it, and not just survive, but we can continue to share that history and the knowledge, that I and I people, placed before us, the history, like Brother Fergus and others who are continuously sharing information and keeping the Black history alive. We need to keep, our history alive, and that's what I continue to do in whatever way I can, be it through the forest, be it through the moons in the Caribbean, be it through the jewelry, whatever I do, I try to keep that whole energy of the Black Power, history alive.
And thank you so much for the work that you are doing now. Dr. Fergus, I'll ask you what Black Power means to you, but just before you give me that answer, I want you to remind us, or let us know rather, because you said that Sister Jaramogi is one of the panelists. Who are the other speakers who will be comprising that totality tomorrow, on Thursday, the 23rd of July?
Yeah, we have three panelists in addition to Sister Jaramogi. We have Mr. Shabaka Kambon, well-known name, of course, as Director of the Safety and Project, who is a communication specialist. We have Dr. Tahima Steve, and he is the Director of the Institute of Indigenous Knowledge, Empowerment, and Research. And we have one panelist from Toronto in Canada. And she is Dr. Alisa Tutz, who is Director of Women and Gender Studies, the Women and Gender Studies Institute at the University of Toronto. So she would be joining us from Canada tomorrow. Those are the four panelists.
Thank you so much. And with that in mind, I ask you, what does Black Power mean to you in 2020? And I'll continue the question. Does it mean the same thing to you now as it did in 1970?
No, in 1970, I wasn't directly involved in the Black Power movement. I was still in school. I wasn't involved. But I was aware, and it did impact me. I had my afro, for example, which I sported, for decades. That was one of the ways that a lot of people manifested the impact of the Black Power movement, in terms of embracing African dress and so on. Those things are still very much part of my being who I am today. But I think the challenge is even, personally, the challenge is greater for me because, I want to get involved in the question of institution building. I think without new institutions or institutions that we control, that we will not be able really to achieve Black Power. We need to build institutions and we need to control institutions. We need economic empowerment, for example. Black Power without economic empowerment would not be standing on very firm foundation. We need to make the education system a lot more relevant, not only to Black people, but to the whole program of building an independent nation, because today, we would have situations, for example, not just the curriculum, that's a major aspect of it, but you know, from time to time, we still have incidences of African children being terrorized for their hairstyle, and this has to end. It has to end. And that means that the school codes in certain schools which perpetuate the whole discrimination against these African hairstyles, those things have to be revised. So the Minister of Education must take a deep look into the issues that affect the education system, the content of the education system, the codes of conduct as well. So there are a number of things we really need to continue to challenge and to work upon in addition to building our own institutions. I think we should be, for example, looking towards controlling our own schools, because we cannot control the curriculum because we follow national curriculums.
And in terms of not being able to control the curriculum, Dr. Fergus, I want to throw this question to Sister Jaramogi. What do you think can be done to increase that education so people are not just forced, but want to look at themselves? Because yes, it is well and good to have the curriculum one way or a little more expansive in schools, but there is life outside of that. So what can be done, in your view, with life outside of that to kind of improve that love of self, Sister Jaramogi?
I think we have to go through a whole re-education process. As you say, not just in the school, but in everything we do. You know, we gotta, you know, make use of, for example, social media. We're gonna, you know, we need to have it in communities and in families, you know, just a reminder as we go along. And to see that whole transformation, that whole change, that whole level of consciousness, it starts with the family. It starts with the family. For example, when I am teaching about the environment, I give the children information to take home. And sometimes now they themselves are teaching their parents. So again, in everything we do, not just in the schools, but again, in the institutions, in the churches, in the sports, all over, nationwide, you know, a move, a national move, a global move to re-educate I&I people. At one time, I said it was a cultural revolution to unbrainwash I&I people, a cultural revolution to unbrainwash us, because, you know, it's just so much we need to still do in this time, you know, especially the parents, the adults. We need to work on the adults and just remind them of who we are, who they are, that sense of value, you know, the greatness of being Black, you know, the journey, what our poor parents went through and what we have to work with today. We survived that and we must not fail them. So again, we need to do that all wrong education, you know, not just in the schools, but at all levels.
Definitely, and we thank you so much for that. It's the perfect opportunity, or the perfect point for us to take a pause in this conversation, reminding you that the panelists present on Thursday, the 23rd of July at 5:30 p.m. on the committee's Facebook page. This is the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago's Facebook page. Hashtag Enjoy From Home. Hashtag Bringing the Festival to You. Thank you so much, Dr. Fergus. Thank you so much, Akilah Jaramogi. And thank you for tuning in on behalf of the entire news team. I'm DK Rosta. Good night.